you're on mute, my friend.
Oh, you're on mute, brother.
God, you see? Boom!
That's how I started, man.
Exactly what I was telling you guys.
That's what we call a great start.
Folks, it's been a super long one, man. I was telling my guests for the show today, Fable and Nick from Comic Culture, that I might be a little slow, on the uptake, man. Just kind of running on zombie mode, autopilot, man. But I appreciate
It's all good.
everybody who tunes in either live or on the replay, and we've got some fantastic guests. We've got a great show planned for you. We've got Fable, One Collection Down, and Nick, Comic Culture. What's going on, baby? How you guys doing?
Chilling, brother.
Doing good. Thanks for having us, man.
Oh man,
Glad to
thank
be here.
you so much for coming through, man.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to House of Nerd Show episode 126, man. 126. It's crazy.
Dang. That's a lot of shows.
It is. You know what? We started this, I want to say, like 2.5 years ago now, and haven't missed a single Sunday, man. So
Wow.
yeah, I had some great community members, co-hosts, and all that stuff who held it down when I haven't been able to do the Sunday show. So
that's awesome.
Consecutive Sundays for almost 3 years now, man. It's pretty cool. It's pretty
sweet.
Cool.
Sweet.
Happy to have you guys here for this episode, man.
Yeah.
For those folks who might not be familiar, why don't you please introduce yourselves? Let us know what you guys do, where everybody can find you, all that good stuff,
Yeah. Fable, go first, bud.
My name is Fable, aka One Collection Down. I'm mostly an IGer, Instagrammer. I do a lot of stuff on Instagram, posting collections, creating hashtags, getting the community involved and all that kind of thing. And that's really like what I love to do. But in the last few years, I've gotten into doing content. Of course, I got a group of guys with me that a lot of them were doing content way before me. And of course, I would guest on their shows and stuff like that. And people would naturally try to push me to doing my own stuff. So I started doing that, and we started doing that on IG about maybe 2 years ago. Yeah. And man, last 6 months, I gotta say, has been like going crazy. Like it's been going up and up and up. But unfortunately, Instagram is not the best platform to do these kind of shows. Mm-hmm. So me and Nick have recently decided to move our show over to YouTube. So like just an Instagram comic book collector, pop culture philosopher, like to talk about everything. It's not just comics, it's movies, TV, toys, cartoons. I mean, we love it all. So yeah, that's basically what I'm about.
Yeah.
Okay. And I had a fantastic. I was on your guys' show last weekend, last Saturday, man.
Yeah. That was a great show.
You guys, and you guys covered the full gamut of like nerddom, man. Had a whole bunch of fun. Make sure you check it out, man. It's up on I guess it would be on your profile there, Fable.
Yeah. One Collection Down on YouTube, man.
Okay, sick, man.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
So Nick, Comic Culture here. So met Fable and a bunch of other guys back in Robbie's Pop Culture Philosophers chats. And like Fable alluded to, man, a bunch of us just kind of got together, formed our own little group. And so we're chatting like every single day, and we're putting out all kinds of content and stuff, trying to collaborate whenever we can. So like Fable mentioned, we do the Blame Fable's Amazing Friend show on Instagram, soon coming to YouTube, which is going to be awesome. But on my own channel, Comic Culture, I also do like FOC haul videos. I do key comic breakdowns. I do reviews, weekly reviews for all the new comic books, things like that. And then I started the channel with a bunch of like how to get into comics today kinds of things, because like it's not a very intuitive hobby to get into. You think it might, but there's a lot of little nuances out there that maybe some new people might not understand. And as Marvel and MCU and DCU started spinning up, I figured a lot of people will be getting into the hobby, so they need a guide to kind of get in here and navigate the waters successfully. So put out a lot of content related to that. And but mostly nowadays it's like new release stuff and reviews and whatnot, and collaborating with these awesome guys and people like yourself and everybody. So yeah, man, just glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Hey, thank you guys so much for coming through. Now, Nick, do you have like a regular show that folks can tune in and check you
Yeah,
out?
I have 3 pre-recorded shows a week that people can check out. Yeah, so on Wednesdays
okay.
I collaborate with my local comic shop, Cadets Toys and Comics, and so I actually record every week at their shop. I show all the new books that have come out, and then I do my haul video from there as well. Those all come out on Wednesdays, and then on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Central, I do Nick at Night. So I read all my books, and I do a Nick at Night in this kind of a format right here, and I go through all those books. It's usually about a 30-minute video or so every single week. So, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saturday nights and Wednesdays, but it's all pre-recorded. You don't do any live?
Yeah. My live stuff I do with Fable right now, and I used to do like a comic book look ahead where like once a month on Sunday mornings I would sit down and like go through League of Comic Geeks and see what's coming out next month, and it's just a way to like, you know, share our thoughts in the chat and see what I'm picking up, what you're picking up, what I should be getting, what you should be getting, and just seeing what's coming out. But I haven't done that since like February at this point, but I miss it, but I got to get back into it.
That's cool, man. Yeah, because I've seen, you know, Fable's been following his stuff for a minute.
Yeah,
on IG, but I'm just getting familiar with your stuff, so you know, definitely gonna check it out, man. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, likewise. It's a big community, dude. There's like so many people doing so much stuff, and when you're a creator,
and he's being a little bit humble. I mean, this guy's actually won a comic book community award for his channel
2 years ago. 2 years ago. What have you done for me lately, though? Nothing. Apparently, I've done nothing.
Guys, if you haven't checked out Nick's stuff, man, his stuff is some of the slickest looking stuff. You know what I mean?
I appreciate
camera work, coloring, everything looks great. I definitely want more people to pay attention to my boy Nick, because we always call him the 4th best reviewer on OnlyFans.
No, number 2 on OnlyFans.
Oh, it's number 2 on OnlyFans.
4 on YouTube now, I think. Well, actually 5. I'm not even nominated, so probably 5 or 6.
I'm gonna have to talk to you, Nick, afterwards, because I'm trying to crack that OnlyFans market, baby. You know,
it's rough. I make more money there than in MMA. I can tell you that.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Man. Oh man. Hey, listen, we got Chaos and Comics in the house.
What up,
baby?
Dude? Channel member. Thanks, man.
I'm sorry?
Channel member. So thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, shout out to Chaos and Comics, man. Good to see you guys.
He has awesome stuff too. Check him out.
And Mr. Steven. Mr.
Steve,
dude. And me from the Team Nerd Herd podcast, always doing big things, man. Shout out, thank you so much for coming through, man. Always good to see you.
Yep. Hope you're doing well.
And actually, I just think, Steve, did we confirm you're on next week? I think we did.
Oh, nice.
We did. Yeah.
Nice.
I want to say I had Steve on. He was on the show like well over a year ago, man. It's been too long, so excited to have him
he's
back.
a cool dude.
Yeah. I've had him on maybe 2-3 times on the Fable one. So
great guy.
Great people, man. I love Steve, man. The energy this guy brings, always smiling. I said, oh my, infectious, man. Can't help but feel good about it.
Yep, for sure.
Hey folks, we got a great show planned for you guys today. We're of course we're getting into hot takes, baby. Hot takes, you know. So you know, I asked Fable, I asked Nick. I said, you know, guys come up with a couple hot takes. We'll discuss, we'll dissect, and we're hoping that the community, that the chats, you know, we want you to bring your spiciest takes to the table as well. Yep. You know, I want to see if you guys have anything that's cooking, man. So we'll see. It's always a fine line to balance, because there's been times where I'm like, I really want to say this, but you know, right now. You gotta be careful.
Yeah,
you're off YouTube, and
I've lost 10 subs. Oh god,
right? Not more shit, man. I've lost I've lost half my subs, man.
I'm in that boat right now as we speak, because yesterday's show we got into talking about cameo appearance and first appearance, right? So I go on this rant. About cameo appearances, right?
Oh, come on.
Throw that shit out the window, right? But you know, there's people that collect cameo appearances. If I'm telling them to throw out the window, I'm invalidating their collection. You understand what I'm saying? They're gonna have to rethink the value of their collections if I'm saying get rid of cameos. So I go on a rant about cameos, and I thought it was a pretty decent rant. So I cut it out of the show, and I want to put it down.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And I want to put it as a reel, but then I'm like, do I really want people to comment on this?
Yeah, you do.
I really want to go back and forth?
Do it.
I'm all for it, man. You know,
Do it.
I feel like, you know, sometimes we gotta keep it 100, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
at the end of the day, we're you know, probably more often than not, we're gonna have differing opinions, but that's okay, man. You know, if everybody was like same opinion, things would be boring. I mean, like what's the sense in that? What's the point in that?
For sure.
Before we continue with the show, I did want to give a shout out to the show's sponsor, Gotham Central Comics, folks. Their latest store exclusive went live the other day, and you can see it right here. This heater from Alan Kwa, man. This bad boy, limited to 500 copies. It's for Creepshow #1 from Volume 2.
Nice.
I love this, man. I love this.
That's a great cover.
Right in time for the spooky season too, man. You know, it's great. Right in time for the Halloween season. So, folks, we've got a discount code for you now for the community, man. It's live on the site. You can use it not only on this book, on any purchase, man, on the website there. So use code House of Nerd 10 for 10% off, man. And they're great team over there, Carlos and the rest of the guys, man. And if you go, you'll check it. If you're local to Toronto, they're right here in the GTA in the Greater Toronto area, or they do online. They ship to the States. Great shipping, relatively inexpensive, man. They got all kinds of crazy collectibles. They do it all, man. You know.
Yeah.
So great guys over at Gotham Central Comics. Shout out Carlos and the team. Appreciate you guys. Shop and save, baby. That's what I want to see you guys do, man. Shop and save. Creepshow #1, Alan Kwa, live now. Awesome. And yes, I see a couple comments. Oh, who's that? It's my main man. Let's get this down here. It's my main man. This early in the morning, man cave theater. Cheers. Okay.
What up?
5 o'clock somewhere. I'll do it. I'll take it. I'm all for that, man. Salute. I don't have the brew. I wish I probably could use one right now, but I don't know. A little cafecito there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll enjoy that. Yeah, and Steven, I agree. You know, we gotta be authentic, man, and just, you know, be yourself, and hopefully, you know, people see that you know, you're being genuine and stuff like that. And you know,
yeah.
You know, I remember when I first started this whole YouTube thing and stuff, I was like, I'm not a non-camera guy at all. I was like, so like, you know, like this was not my comfort zone, but you know, it took a while for me to actually, like, you know, feel like you know, relatively comfortable and stuff like that too.
Sure.
So it's always interesting, man. It's always interesting.
I still get nervous, man.
Yeah?
I still get nervous every single time.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean,
that's normal.
The other day I did a pop-up, and my brother Missing Link was supposed to join me for the pop-up, and for some reason he couldn't join for the first 20 minutes. And I'm usually good at jumping, like, you know, bouncing off of people. That's why I got Nick with me.
Yeah.
I don't got I got Herm. I got somebody with me. Somebody's always got to be with me.
Yeah.
So I'm there for 20 minutes. I'm just rambling.
Like, what else?
And I'm like, you know what I mean? But luckily, because I've been doing it for a while, I was able to get through it. But man, I was nervous the whole entire time. I'm like, where are you, Link? Where are you?
Yeah, came through.
Yeah. It's I've had to do the show some few things on my own tip recently a few times, and it definitely is a different vibe. It's a different feel, because I don't know how, like on IG, I don't know how much behind the scenes stuff you got going on the streamer and the YouTube. Then you're trying to do this and interact and and get through. So it's interesting though. It makes it fun, man. You know.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
Getting more comfortable with that as well, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? Before I forget, I did want to announce our next guest next Friday, folks, or I should say this upcoming Friday, live at 9 p.m. Eastern. We've got the creative team of From the Sickness Uncivilized, hot book. We got Lonnie Nadler and Jenna Cha, man. Killer books.
Awesome.
Have you guys had the opportunity to read this one?
No, I have not actually. No, I
Oh,
think I saw it at my shop, but it went pretty quick because they had it. Yeah, so check it out.
yeah. I mean, the issue number 1 on the left, the first printing sold out. The cover on the right there that you see is the second printing, glow in the dark. Great stuff. Excited to have this team on, man. And issue number 2, folks, does drop this Wednesday.
That's awesome.
September the 13th, and it just continues. Like this is some trippy, like really recommending folks check it out. So when you read it, you check it out, come through and hang with us on Friday. And excited to have those guys, man. Hopefully we get to see some new faces in the chat. They're excited, man.
Man, it's incredible, man. You have so many creators on your channel.
I know.
I looked down the list of his videos, and I'm like, holy smoke, dude! How do you do this?
Well, it's not, Fable. It's not even that. It's how casual they all are when they're actually on too. Like John Lee's like Chip is on there, and they're just like, "Hey, Chip." He's like, "Hey, man."
What up?
And I'm like, "What?" Robbie has a classic line at this point where like he gets a creator on his show that he really admires and he's really in awe of, and he's just like speechless, and he just says, "I'm just a really big fan," and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like a Chris Farley, Paul McCartney thing.
Yeah.
But you guys are just like so natural. It's just blown me away. That's cool.
You know, hey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate those words. Yeah, you know, we've been honestly, we've been blessed. We've been fortunate. We've had some fantastic creators come through, man. And for me, it was always just like, I just want to have fun with these guys, you know, give them maybe something a little different than the typical kind of interview format. And make it feel like really you're coming through the house, like, you know, this is your home, man. Like, you know, just kind of become
a great take.
So, you know, I'm glad that's coming through, man. And
for sure,
the community can see that, man. Yeah. Shout out to my man Figure Drying. What's going on, baby? Thank you so much.
What up?
Figure Drying, one of our more man, he's so knowledgeable. He's so smart, this guy, bro.
Oh yeah, everywhere too. By the way, all
is he everywhere? Is he? Are you guys familiar with Figure?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Figure.
Yep.
I thought.
Yep.
I'm a little. Okay, I thought we had some there, Figure. All right.
You might be the main squeeze still, though. It's been a minute.
Yeah, you're still the favorite.
You're still the main squeeze. Don't worry.
Figure, baby, we're talking.
We're in the PCP days, you know. Yeah.
And Man Cave. You guys are familiar with Man Cave too?
Mm-hmm.
No, Man Cave.
Man Cave. Okay. Mm-hmm. Man Cave. Okay, Man Cave's a real one. He's got the one.
We'd love to have you though.
Thanks for coming through, man. Hey, I appreciate it. See, that's what I'm talking about. A real one.
My only love.
A real one, baby. I appreciate you.
Man.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, we could be your side piece, Man Cave. We could be. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Or he's in here. He's trying to get on the side piece action.
Or what if they're the same people? It's Figure Drawing, and then there's a burner account, Man Cave Theater, and then the burner account's always for you, Sergio.
2023.
Yeah.
You know what are relationships anyway? You know.
Yeah. Well, it's a sloppy seconds. We'll take them. We'll take them.
Okay. My man's into the sloppy seconds.
Hey.
I'm glad you do that, Nick. I don't get into no sloppy second action.
Clip that.
I gotta be first in the train station, man.
I'm loyal.
Oh shit. All right, folks. We're out of here, baby. Speaking of getting canceled, that's it. I'll see you.
Yeah, it was a great show. See you guys.
Great show. Oh man. Yes. I mean, shall we get into our hot takes, man?
Let's do it.
Let me pull up. Let me screen share here. Boom, 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 boom. I can pull it up. Yeah. You guys can see that. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Looks
okay,
good.
There we go. Hot takes, baby. Hot takes.
Love it.
Yeah. You know, so this is what we're gonna do. you know, we're Fable, Nick, myself. We've got come up what we think are you know, some hot takes, perhaps, maybe not, you know, and we're gonna ask the community, you know, those in the live chats, or even, you know, those who catch it on the replay, man. Let us know in the comments of the video. We want you to rate our hot takes on a scale of 1 to 5 spicy peppers, man. Let us know how hot they are, man. You know what I mean?
It's like
we're doing.
It's like I don't wanna get canceled, but at the same time I want to win.
Yeah.
So it's like the weirdest thing right now.
I'm gonna have to change my hot takes. We're doing Scoville unit grading here. Okay.
We're getting into it like that, man. How spicy is it gonna get? And then, of course, folks, if you guys have got any, let us know what you got, man. You know, and then we can discuss, debate, dissect, all that good stuff, man. You know, because I know, you know, we don't want you guys, no biting your tongues, man. If you've got it, bring it. You know, as long as it's, you know, we don't spread, you know, hate over here. You know, other than that, I think we're good to go, man. Yes. So I think we started off with Fable, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a look here. Yes, Fable. Let us know what's going on here, my man, please.
All right. So
whoa.
So listen, guys. I skipped Phase 4, right? I didn't watch Phase 4, right? So I heard everybody's opinions on both of these films, right? And the biggest consensus, I think, the thing everybody can agree on, I think, is that Wakanda Forever was pretty good, and Thor: Love and Thunder wasn't, right? Like that's what people told me for at least a year, right?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
In the last month, I went and watched these two films. I've actually watched these back to back in a week, right? And I gotta tell you guys, Thor: Love and Thunder, yes, I get the complaints. It's silly. It doesn't do really anything for the plot or the MCU as a whole. I get it. And Wakanda Forever is beautifully shot. It is a very strong, emotional movie. But guys, I was watching Thor: Love and Thunder. I was laughing. I was having a good time. I was like, this is pretty funny. I was like the ghost going, and all that shit. That shit had me laughing. And again, guys, I get the complaints. But then I'm watching Wakanda Forever, and again, emotionally charged, all this stuff. But I was kind of bored. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sitting there like, where's T'Challa? Nobody's talking about T'Challa. I haven't even seen his face. It's been an hour and a half into this movie.
Well, I don't know if you've heard.
I know, but still, like, can we get a flashback? Can we get some hugs going? I don't know, some cut scenes. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, all right, this is good, but it's a drag, man. It's just sad and it's a drag. So yes, I enjoyed Thor: Love and Thunder more than Wakanda Forever.
Whew. Ooh, yeah, buddy. I'm sweating here. I'm sweating here right now.
Someone hold me back. Hold me back.
Like to tackle this one first, perhaps, man. What are your thoughts on Fables? I mean, because damn, bro. I mean,
yeah. So they're both awful, in my opinion.
Oh shit!
So we're gonna have a. Yeah, they both suck.
Nick, hold that thought, because I think my man Frank over here sharing your sentiment. He's saying this is ass versus ass. You know?
Yeah, it's not very good. I think Wakanda Forever was a great in memoriam for Chadwick Boseman. I think that was a good movie. Like the first 10 minutes were very emotional. I mean, could they have done more? Probably, but did they need to focus? With all due respect, did they need to focus the entire movie on the loss of the character? No, but they did give the first 10 or 15 minutes to him, and he was constantly brought up in the emotional impact that loss made on those characters. I'm not talking about the actor, I'm talking about the character. the emotional impact that that character's loss had on everybody. It was there and it was felt throughout the whole movie. But I agree. At the end of the movie, I'm like, visually, awesome.
Right.
Story wise, awful. I didn't like it at all. And then Love and Thunder was just, I was laughing, but not for the right reasons. I was laughing because I was like, this is ridiculous. And I can't believe somebody said, that's a great idea. Every single time that there was like a thing going on, I'm like, awful.
Listen. In my defense of Thor: Love and Thunder, Thor: Love and Thunder is actually probably the most comic booky Marvel movie of all the Marvel movies. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but we don't need
half
that.
the shit going on in there. That shit happens in the comic book.
Right.
A bunch of kids. You know what I mean?
But I mean, they took Ragnarok, and they thought they learned some lessons from Ragnarok when there wasn't any lessons to learn. You didn't need to learn anything. You just replicate what you did, and you do it in a fresh way. And I think they just dialed it to 11, and they thought that would be better, and it sucked.
I just think you're hearing the story from an unreliable narrator, right? Because his rock friend is the one telling this.
Yeah,
this
I totally
crazy
get that.
tale. You know
it.
what I mean? And I think that's what they were going for. But you know, people are looking for continuity. They want the next step in the MCU. They don't want Thor to be that much of a joke. I get it. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying enjoyability factor. Just the fact that you said you laughed makes me feel like you enjoyed it more than Wakanda Forever too. I'm just saying.
I laughed instead of cried. You're right.
Okay, listen. So now, for those who are with us, man, what are you thinking of Fable's first hot take, man? 1 of 5 spicy peppers, man. Like, what are we talking about? What are you guys thinking? I'm saying there's gotta be at least a 4, because and I'm saying Thor was the biggest pile of shit I've ever seen. Legit, I was mad at myself for forcing myself to try to get through that.
Me too.
It was the dumbest fucking film. I couldn't. Those goats were atrocious. Like, Taika, what were you thinking, my man?
At least you're in the comic book.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Ragnarok was the exception, and so he said, "Let me dial everything up to 11 with Love and Thunder." Just terrible, and so now, Nick, you're also saying Wakanda Forever not exactly the greatest. So I might be bringing the hot take thinking here. Wakanda Forever for me was easily the best Phase 4 film. I now, admittedly, I think a lot of Phase 4 was crap.
For sure,
there wasn't very much that I liked. I think maybe the Halloween special that they did, the werewolf, Wakanda Forever, strange.
That's my favorite thing.
Strange,
you know. But like legitimately enjoyed it. I thought it was a great film. I loved Wakanda Forever. So yeah, I'm hitting you with a 4, Fable. I think that's spicy, my man.
I knew it was gonna irritate some people. I knew it.
Yeah, I'm a little irritated. I gotta be honest. Yo, figure saying the irony is spice is not a flavor, it's the sensation of pain from a chemical irritant similar to poison ivy, and Fable's take is that irritating. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go, my man. So yeah, I'm not the only one that's okay. Good to know. I gotta keep it 100, man. That's a rough one. And then he's saying Thor 4 was a movie I wish I could block. 100%. 100%. I couldn't take that, man.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
give that take a Thor 4 out of 5. Okay. See, but you know what I feel like? Now I feel like figure drawing's just, I don't know, man. I feel like you're just agreeing with me now. Now that I found out exactly how you roll, man. You just living that whole life all willy-nilly all over the place, man. I know. I see you, Fabian. And Frank saying Taika Waititi was too busy having a threesome on set. He forgot to make a movie. Is that a real thing?
I didn't hear that.
Now I want to know. Now I want to know, man.
Careful with your Google search.
Oh yeah, right. For sure. Man, my man pulling on set. Okay. I'm not mad. You got to do your thing, man.
No, man. The worst thing in Phase 4, hands down, is the Eternals. I mean, come on.
No, She-Hulk.
No, the Eternals, man.
Oh,
what the hell was that?
Are you on your second hot take right now?
Eternals, for me, Eternals was the better film than Thor, but it was boring, dude. It was
so
just
boring.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like a lot of the Phase 4 stuff. They were one and dones for me,
Right.
and I can't say that about really any of the other phases. Like I've watched the other films multiple times, but
yeah,
you know,
there's no rewatchability.
No, not at all. Yo, Raging Cajun JD in the house,
what's
my
up, dude?
man. ¿Qué tal? Buenos días, hombre. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful Sunday, my man. Okay, Fable, let's get into your next take, baby. What do we got here? If I can, is it? Am I frozen? There we go.
All right, man. So we all know that my man Ditko, Steve Ditko, legend. I'm not taking nothing away from him. His legend status, his creative status, his imagination, his mark on the game. So don't get this twisted when I tell you that he's one of the worst artists I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God. Oh shit. Okay.
I am so happy that well, who was it? Sal Buscema? Who took over Spider-Man after Ditko left? Like directly after. Was it Sal?
I don't know.
Guys, help me out here. I'm not the biggest historian.
No idea.
But I'm so glad that whoever took it over after him took it over and created the Spider-Man that we all know and love today. Because if he would have continued drawing this shit, I don't know if I would have been a fan. So my hot take is that Steve Ditko, he was meh as an artist.
Hey yo, R.I.P. to the big homie. We're not trying to spit on your grave, my man.
Jeez. Fable's thoughts do not represent the overall thoughts of PCP Army Bad Batch or the Pop Culture Philosophers YouTube empire.
Am I alive though? Come on, when you think about Spider-Man, does this come into your mind at all? This is like Frank Miller Wolverine, bro. Like, what's going on here?
I just lost 5 subs just knowing you.
Yeah. Fable, I just lost about 20% of my stuff.
Wait. I'm getting confused. You're supposed to get subscribers. These are the hottest takes, man. Let's go.
I
it's
love
on
it.
fire.
I love it. I'm so glad you brought him today, man. This is what I want. Okay. So but just to be clear, you're not saying he was just an okay. You're actually saying he was trash. One of the worst.
Yo, do you have a still of his Peter Parker? Can we bring one of those up?
Well, I do have. I mean, you could see. I mean, there's some of his character work there. I mean, what do you guys think?
All right. I'm gonna walk it back a little bit because I do like some of his other work. But just like if you look at Amazing Fantasy 15, I don't know, man. I might have not been a fan if I was alive in 1963. And that was my first issue of Spider-Man or whatever it was. I'm like, wow. I don't know this Ditko guy. I like this Kirby guy, though. This Kirby guy, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Huh. The figure there, he's saying, yeah, he's just letting you know. He's just tapping the sign. Like, what about ASM 15, my man, you know?
It's a great cover.
Yeah. It's Cookie.
What
it's
up?
Cookie Monster. Now, you know what happened, Cookie, is, Cookie's a gem, one of the best in the community. She's usually very early here. And she's always reminding me, you see the little coffee emoji there? So she wasn't here first thing, and I forgot to take a sip of my coffee. But she's here now. Shout out, Cookie.
Nice.
Folks, check her out on the social. She got some crazy makeup like pieces. She does like horror and comic book based stuff and just like all kinds of wild shit, man.
Sweet.
Crazy stuff, man. Yeah, and I think what Steve was saying here, was it Kirby that followed followed Ditko? I think that might be.
Well,
Kirby.
Isn't it Kirby that did the cover for Amazing Fantasy 15? Like they went with Kirby's cover, even though he didn't do the character. Is that right, or is it Ditko's cover? I don't remember. There's something about Kirby doing a cover for AF-15 or something like that.
You know what? I keep hearing or reading different things. Steve Ditko's credited as the co-creator, right? But apparently it wasn't him. It was some other guy who actually came up with the idea originally. This and that. I don't know.
So Kirby was the penciler and Steve was the inker.
Was the inker, eh?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, like I don't take nothing away from his place in comics. Like I just because I don't like his art doesn't mean he falls down any kind of notches in respect. He still gets that respect that he deserves.
I got you.
Yeah, I'm just not attracted to his line work, man. Especially Amazing Fantasy 15. I love the comic. I love that it's Spider-Man, but I'm looking at it. I'm like, damn! Thank God Sal Buscema came along. Thank God Todd McFarlane came along, and all these guys who redefined Spider-Man.
So one thing is, a lot of these older like artists that helped create these characters, a lot of them weren't great. To be honest, I'll expand your hot take to even say a lot of them were just okay. But what we have the advantage of having now is 60 years of innovation and lessons learned.
Right.
So when you look at a Todd McFarlane Spider-Man and you see that webbing, you're like, of course that's how the webbing should look like forever, until somebody redefines it, and then we say that's how it should look forever. Until then, it was a couple of lines and some scratching and some hash marks, some cross hatching, and it just didn't work until somebody redefined it. So like, to your point, a lot of the early work was garbage, but it was the best there was at the time. And we have 60 years of innovation now for us to look back on and say, how did that ever sell? Well, it sold because it was the only option and nobody knew any better. But some of those guys set the path for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. I tend to agree. And I was going to add to your comment there, Nick, but Frank beat me to it. There are very few artists from that era whose art absolutely can still hold it up. With modern artists and Frank,
except for Kirby.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like
Jack was so
man, he was ahead of the game.
Yeah, compared to like a Ditko. For me, even back when I was a kid, I thought that. Like, you know what I mean? And I still feel that way.
Yeah. No, you know what? Honestly, man, I'm kind of with you on this one, Fable. To be honest, man, like that's always been I find it hard to read. Like older comics, even now, like I grew up during the 90s eras of comics. It's tough to read that because a lot of the art is just like, oh, and I mean, but you gotta understand, it's like anything. It's like athletes, they progress, they get better, man.
But even the artists of the time, like you just said, like a lot of them weren't good. But I don't know if that's true either, because they weren't working in Marvel necessarily. They might have been doing the horror comics.
Right.
The art in those books were freaking phenomenal. Whether the stories were good or not, the art was way higher level than what you were getting here. Like, let's say.
Yep.
So, folks, what are you thinking? we gotta know. Rate Fable's hot take on a scale of 1 to 5 spicy peppers. I'm gonna Nick. What are you going with this one? How many peppers are you giving him?
I agree. I agreed in this first hot take of a 4 for sure. I'll throw that out there. And then this one was just an okay artist, man. I might go with like a 3.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with a 3.5 on that.
Yeah.
Because like I agree, but I think a lot of people would also, if they look truly into themselves and they really think about it, I think they're going to go, yeah. But I think it's because we have 60 years of comparison to throw on top of it, for sure.
And we have a lot of respect too. I think a lot of respect.
And that's a conflicting interest, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Raging Cajun. He's gone with 4. Okay.
Yeah, boy.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna. Like I said, I tend to agree with Fable, so I'm giving it a 3.
All right.
I can definitely see how a lot of OGs, they're probably throwing 5s at your.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what. If you just started reading the last 3 years, it's a 1. But if you're reading for 40, it's probably a 5, right?
Yeah. And before we move on to
but just the context, I'm saying even in his time. So,
Even in his time.
Sure.
even in his time is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Not with 60 years of context.
Sure.
I'm saying 1960, he was still not the greatest.
There you go.
Yeah,
That bumps
you know
it up.
What? With that, I'll match Nick's. I'll bump you up to 3.5 now. 3.5. There you go, my man. So Frank saying, what's his hot take? My hot take is that indie comic scene for the past year or so has been weak. Few things have hit for me. Whoa. Whoa.
Frank, we need to read more. We're gonna have some problems here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, my man. That's pretty fucking hot, man. My hot take is that the indie comic scene for the past year or so has been weak.
Frank, what are you reading?
That's a great.
Drop some titles.
Yeah.
Go follow Comic Culture on YouTube. And
that'll be his hot takes. Tell us the indie titles that you think suck that everybody's like, oh yeah, I love it.
We're getting there, baby. We're getting there. Simmer down.
What are you guys giving Frank's? How many peppers, man?
I mean,
good one.
I gotta go at least a 4 there. Because I mean, indie comics is
you're just reading the wrong ones,
man.
The problem is there's more indie comics than there is Big Two and Big Two, so you're just reading the wrong ones. So I give it like a 3 because I can see it because it's saturated with garbage, but there's a lot of good stuff out there like anything else.
Yeah. I'll give it a 3. I'll give it a 3.
A 3? Okay.
3 Spice. Yeah, because I have been fooled by indies a lot.
Oh yeah,
I've bought indies and just been just like, damn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got suckered in again. But no. At least with Marvel, I know what to expect. Like, that 5-issue mini is trash.
But it's got 40 variant covers, Fable, and they all connect.
You know, Nick, you mentioned there the market oversaturated. I didn't include it in this hot take because the first time we did this a while back, one of my hot takes was that there's way too many comics being published these days. A lot of caca out there, you know. Listen, it's a process, man. The creative process, you know, you're gonna get better, and you gotta publish comics to kind of, you know, learn the ropes. And I understand that, but at the same time, there should be some kind of like a minimum in terms of just quality, right? Don't maybe publish until it hits that minimum of quality. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Oh, we've had this conversation so much in the back.
It's a race to the bottom, Sergio. Like every business out there, they're all out for the short-term dollar. They're not trying to build the long-term dollar, and that's why. I mean, you got Contest of Chaos going on in all the Marvel annuals right now. Nobody's talking about it. And how is there a Contest of Chaos even going on when Fall of X is going on? And you know what I mean? It's just a worthless book that should not be out. But you know,
for sure.
I just wanted to give Black Crown Comics a shout out, man. Fable, he's digging your shirt, bro. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Check out Black Crown Comics.
The voices, baby.
Big things, man. Sunday nights, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern. Frankie's just keeping them coming with the hot takes. He says,
well, this one's pretty. That one's not
a 5. That's a 5.
That's a 10.
Right
a 10.
You take it too far. Too far, man.
I read it as like the current runs of Spider-Man, not Spider-Man in general. If it's the current runs, that's a -5.
Oh, okay.
But if it's the character of Spider-Man, then that's, man, he's been tarnished over the last 5 years or so. So like,
Look, and Steve's actually agreeing with a lot of what Frank said. I have to agree, comics in general haven't been as good. My pull has gotten smaller.
Oh, Steve, you read more than that. Come on.
Yeah.
You know better.
Okay. Who do so now I think Nick, you got some heat yourself. Let's see what you got, my man.
Were those all 3 years? Were those 3 years?
No, just 2.
You got just 2.
Okay, gotcha.
You got the two. So Nick, let's here we go.
Oh man, how are these going to stack up against Fables? I don't know. I got one weak one. I think I got two decent ones. Okay, here's a good one.
Talk to us, baby.
The Justice League movie sucked, and so did Snyder's cut. There's nothing more to say. That's it. It is what it is. So, what they try.
Stop it. Get some help.
I didn't know it was that kind of a show where you just start popping up.
Sorry, I had to.
They did nothing. They did nothing to earn this movie. That's my biggest problem with this movie. No, that's not the biggest problem, actually. It's one of the biggest problems. They did nothing to earn the relationships like these characters have in this movie. They tried to get to Endgame or Infinity War as fast as they could, and they failed because there was no relationships between characters. There was no reason we cared about Cyborg or anybody else. Like, they just kind of came into these movies and there was no time to like digest and learn and understand these characters before they had their big collaboration moment.
Right.
That's my first problem. The second problem is there was a lot of bad CGI. There was a lot of scenes that looked like a Broadway play. There was scenery issues. It was very condensed, small scenes that were painted on a CGI background or in front of a CGI background, and it just did not work. Like, it just didn't work for me at all. So like visually, I was taken out so many times where I'm like, that's clearly just a set. You know what I mean? Specifically, the scene with Gordon, with Commissioner Gordon, when they meet him on top. That wide shot and they pull it in. I'm like, did a high school team put this shot together? Because I don't see how this.
It's like, is this coming out on Xbox?
Is this coming out on Xbox? It looked like a movie. It looked like a CGI cutscene. It was awful. And then I'm gonna keep going. Do
it, but man, I gotta because
and then our villain. Nobody cares about the villain that was on there. We all want Darkseid. We don't want some other lackey that he's going to be throwing in here looking for mother boxes and all this crap. First off, that's kind of not really, it's kind of a deep cut plot, to be honest with you, like mother boxes and all that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, okay, the long-term DC fans are going to know what that is, but like the general audience is like, what am I even looking at? What is this futuristic all-powerful energy source that we're trying to gather, and for what purpose? Like, what are we doing here? And it sucked. It was just bad. And then the Snyder cut made it worse because everyone was like, man, I love the Snyder cut. And I'm like, did you watch that 6-hour thing? That was insane. And how many scenes we had. And it took all the cuts that he added were cuts that like they just didn't feel right. You know what I mean? It was like black transitions and then boom, here we are again. And then he brought Leto's Joker back. And I was like, man, you didn't even do anything with that. You had a chance to actually take that back and rework it a little bit, but you grew his hair out and you made him like Batman's buddy and like a Suicide Squad kind of thing at the end. I'm like, dude, I didn't like that movie at all. And Snyder's cut made it longer and worse.
Oh my God! Wow!
It was great, guys. I appreciate you having me on the show. I guess I'll.
Can one of the chat moderators please do something about this guy? I don't. Okay.
Go.
So.
Yes.
So when you started off the Justice League movie, son, I was there with you. You know the Justice League.
Oh God.
Joss Whedon's version was not the greatest. I'll agree. I think a lot of folks can agree. But to say that the Snyder cut was equally as bad, my man, that is blasphemous, my friend.
No, I'm saying it was worse.
It was worse.
Oh my word!
Dude, it wasn't
hot take within a hot take.
Yeah,
I think Steve said it best. No build up at all. Pass the sriracha. Man. And now, figure drawing. I'll get back to your comment there, Frank. Also,
see, come over. Comic Culture on YouTube. Come on over. The water's fine.
figure drawing. It's times like this that I lose faith in humanity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold my tongue for a second because I want to hear Fable. What are you thinking, my man? What's going on? Shit.
I would agree with you. I would say that I agree with Nick's first. The first Justice League movie sucked. It didn't suck to me. It just didn't do anything for me. That's what it is. It was like whatever. And then the Snyder cut, I believe, I felt like it was a better film than the Joss Whedon cut, but I wouldn't disagree with anybody that said it sucked too. So I don't know if it's a super hot take, man. It's a little cool. It's a little cool. I think a lot of people are going to agree with you on this one.
I don't know, man. Everyone I keep talking to are like, "Oh my God, Justice League was so good," and Snyder's cut. Thank God it was released, and I'm like, "Thank God." I won't watch that movie ever again. What do you
think? I think Frank is feeling you here, Fable. He's agreeing. He's saying this is not even a hot take. Who doesn't crap on Snyder's DC? Hello, I loved his films, but I see this all the time.
Yeah, wow, really?
Same thing.
Yeah, I need new friends then, because a lot of them disagree with me there.
We're here. Like, they weren't terrible, but if you said they sucked, we wouldn't argue about it. Like, I'm like, okay. I get it.
Nice.
Justice League, I think, is one of the best comic book movie films we've ever gotten.
Wow, you should be.
You get a 5.
Here, let me host. Let me host, and you do this.
It's great. Snyder knows how to make a fucking film. He makes it cool. I like the style. Story-wise, I feel like a lot of people just shit on him just because it's the cool thing to do, for nerds, man. And I honestly don't like. Man of Steel is a great Superman film.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
it's one of the best DC movies out there for sure.
Justice League, I love it, man.
It's no Superman for the Quest for Peace, but I'll let it.
The quest for more money.
Yeah. There's very few things that I didn't like about what Snyder did with his comic book movie films. I could count on one hand the legitimate things that I didn't like, So I just overall I love his stuff. So when I saw this, Nick, I said, okay, I don't know, I gotta force feed you to sit down and maybe just deconstruct the greatness of this film.
It would be like a Clockwork Orange situation if you had to do that. You'd have to tie me up and pry my eyeballs open just to kind of get me there.
Oh man. What are you rating this one, Fable? How many?
I give him 2.5, man.
2.5?
Yeah. I think he's got half the people agreeing with him and half the people.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Now, personally, I give this one like a 69 peppers.
Yeah.
It's on brand.
I know the general audience. I think I do see a lot of hate for this, so I think they're gonna tend to agree. So I'll probably give it like a 2. Like a 2 peppers, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then figure, are you still going, bro? You guys still going? The Snyder cut was self-indulgent. Come on, man. Now you're just being hateful. We don't do that here on this show. We don't. Come on. I'm glad it gave Snyder a chance to use more slow-mo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch his next movie. I tell you that though, that Netflix thing he's doing.
So
the Star Wars ripoff. I'm doing that one.
Yeah, that looks good.
See, this is why I love hearing always different opinions. I'm a big Snyder fan, right? I'm not a cultist by any means. Those guys they're wackos. But for me, I saw the trailer for Rebel Moon and it kind of did nothing for me. I was just like, I wasn't a fan of his last one. What was his Netflix? That zombie joint?
The zombie one, yeah.
The Las Vegas one?
Yeah, the Dead of the Dead
Army
or something. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. But I'm with Frank here for sure. I think the Snyder Cut is great personally. I think it's the DC love letter, and methodologically it just works for me. Absolutely. I think there's so much that it does really, really well. Yeah, nerds, man. Sometimes we can't please them all. Can't please them all. And Figure Drying giving you a 2.69.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Raise the average. Perfect.
And in terms of Rebel Moon, Benny saying it was an actual Star Wars movie, folks calling it a rip.
I wonder if you didn't enjoy the trailer so much because it was like it was just action. It was like generic action shots just pieced together over and over and over again. It's like, yeah, of course it looks cool, but it's like, what's going on? It's a teaser, not a trailer.
It had so much different sci-fi things,
tropes, right?
To it that it was like, I can't even find the identity for this movie just looking at it. And the first thing in my mind is gonna go to is Star Wars because shit, I mean, it looks dirty like Star Wars. It has lightsabers, lasers, and all that stuff. So that's where my mind immediately goes. Not to take away from it, because I might end up watching this thing and saying, guys, this is the best movie of the year. We don't know what we're talking about.
Could be.
Yeah. We need plot. That's all. We need to understand what the story is.
Now Benny's saying, nah, fuck that. He said, folks, these Snyder movies for action, baby. That's all we want. Okay.
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
Not mad at that. Not bad. Hey, shout out Benny. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, Nick's next hot take. What do we got here, baby? Let's have a look.
We'll see. Oh, here we go. James Tynion's book, or Tynion books, are becoming skippable.
Ooh.
There's a lot of Tynion lovers out there.
I know some people. Yeah, I know some people immediately there. Just get that. You said that.
If you put World Tree and Nice House on the Lake next to each other, and you break it down from a story perspective, it's the same book. It's the exact same book. And I dropped Department of Truth after like 15 issues because I just stopped caring, and I couldn't, and I've said this before, and the best way I can describe this is I couldn't layer all the revelations that Department of Truth were dropping every single issue on top of each other and understand the broader picture and like how it changes and how the characters are supposed to act and how the world changes. There was too many things happening in that book. And we had a lot of one-off issues too that like focus on specific things, and those were okay. They were just poorly composed and drawn and things like that. There were some coloring issues and stuff. But like, if you put World Tree right next to Nice House on the Lake, what you're going to find is you're going to find an end of the world situation where it's kind of in the distant future or it's happening right now. You're going to find a group of long-term friends that are getting together again for the first time in a long time. They have complicated relationships that he's going to explore certain characters more often than other characters. And what that does is it leaves you unaware of what the other characters are doing. And it doesn't give you an overall familiarity with anybody because you can't focus on anybody. And there's just too many people in the thing. Then there's going to be a main villain that is like an anti-hero in a way. We had Walter in Nice House, and we had this Diane word chick in World Tree. And so then it's like, okay, we don't know who this person is. They have some kind of mysterious power. They're phasing in and out. They have some weird alien abilities, things like that. And then it's just there's these like high stakes that aren't really high. There's all these weird like flips and I gotchas and twisting in the story that just really doesn't resonate at all. And I feel like it's the same kind of formula that he's using in all of his books right now. So issue 1 is always going to bang. It's always going to be great because it's a fresh concept. There's all this promise and everything. But as you get to 3, 4, 5, and 6, it's like, oh my God, we're going down the same pathway we've been with so many of his books already. And they all have this like high evolutionary kind of feel to them. There's always an alternate reality or some kind of a higher evolution or something like that. It's just kind of gets a little bit boring. Things aren't always what they seem, and there's too many characters involved, and you can't focus on them. And that's just his cookie cutter formula right now for a lot of his books, and it's just becoming redundant, honestly. And so, yeah.
Ooh, okay. Fable, what are you thinking, my man?
Well, I haven't read much Tynion books, so I can't really speak to it too much. But I do have a grip on my timeline on Instagram and the opinions of people, and I would tend to think that some people are saying this. I'm hearing this rumbling here that maybe it's not as good because even Something's Killing the Children. I'm hearing that it's very stagnant, and as it's getting into the 30s, and You know, House of Slaughter, which is supposed to be some sort of sister book, has no traction whatsoever. Nobody's talking about
No,
that.
just drop that.
Yeah, a bunch of his titles that, like Nick mentioned, the ones before World Tree and Blue Book, you know, they came and went kind of thing. I think I'm seeing that same kind of consensus on my timeline. So I think he's got some there. Another take where I think maybe half the people might agree with you, Nick.
I will say, Comics R Us, thank you. 5 Peppers. Tyner has won an Eisner for Best Writer.
Oh, let me pull
So what I'm saying is, like, somebody is a lot of people are really enjoying his storytelling, and I'm just saying it's not as good as they think. It's like smelling your own fart in a way. That's it really is.
Gasoline on the pepper.
It really is. He's doing. But listen, most of my books in the top shelf are Tynan books. Okay, like I'm a fan. But I'm just saying, his recent stuff feels very similar, and it feels like, okay, how complicated could I possibly make this story without really going anywhere?
Okay.
And can I just replicate it over and over and over again? The answer is yes, and you can win awards for it.
You got your first 5 pepper there, Nick.
Oh, damn, bro. Yeah,
am I gonna buy his next #1? You damn right I am.
You damn right. And I'll get the variant, right, Nick?
And we'll get the variant, and we'll get his Fable, get the variants, and he'll get the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th print.
And we've got Frank saying, now he's saying, I agree with this, though I really like World Tree. Wish Tinian would go back to superhero stuff. It's time for a change up.
Hmm.
Well, he's kind of the front runner for creator owned and published books right now. So it's hard for he's front running on Substack. Is he part of Distillery? Yeah, Tynan's on Distillery, right? So he's like front running all the creator owned, creator produced.
Oh no, the
right
industry has been kind to Mr. Tinian.
Oh yeah, he's kind of the poster child right now. He's the biggest indie name there is right now, probably, right?
I'd have to agree on that one for sure, man. And was it last year that he said he's not going to go back to superheroes for a while, anyways, for the foreseeable future?
Oh, he doesn't
need
to.
He wanted to focus on his creative.
Yeah, and good for him. Major props. Yeah, that's where the creativity comes from.
Yeah. And you know what? Thank you, Nick, because the World Tree, I'm like, where do I know her from? Why is she?
Oh yeah, it's definitely her. Yeah,
that's what it is. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Put them two side by side and tell me it's not the same person.
100%. And what is Figure Drawing saying? Is Nick is a fan or a trader?
Trader.
4 out of 5. Partially for 27.
Yeah, no. So I'm definitely speaking out the side of my mouth when I'm saying about this stuff too. Coming up with this list is hard because it's like I have so much respect and admiration for a lot of these things, but I'm just like I have these personal feelings where I'm just like, man, I can't be the only one, right?
I got you. I'm with you, my man.
Yeah.
And then what do we got for? Let's see here. Oh, we saw that already. There we go.
That's right. Stop buying indie. Stop buying Marvel and DC because indie comics are better.
Oh, 5. You don't even have to go to me here. 5. Straight 5.
Yeah, we kind of we dug into this a little bit in the chat already about like indie comics maybe not being great the past year, and then maybe just the whole industry in general being a little bit down lately. And I don't think it's either one of those. I think it's you really have to pay attention to what you're pulling. You really do. Fable mentioned that he's been burned a lot on indies. Lord knows I have too, because that's like my main pull. I usually pull more indies than anything. I get maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 Marvel or DC a week, but then I'm getting like 6, 7, 8 non-Marvel or DC. How about we just define indie as things that are non-Marvel and DC? But that's a whole separate conversation because Image could certainly be a big 3. But I will say from a creativity perspective, from a to have a wider variety of storytelling and interesting original characters, things like that. I think obviously indies are the place to go. If you're not reading indies, you're reading characters that have been around for 60 years. So you can't do a whole lot to those characters that are completely original ideas, but you can certainly have a creator spit out.
You could you can put them on a mutant island and subvert 60 years of history that way, and you know what I mean? Nah.
Hey, that story's not over yet. That story's not over yet. Listen, by the time they're done, it's going to be like everybody woke up and it's 1993 again. And that was in the Matrix, because Moira had some kind of a power, and that was her mysterious 10th life or some shit.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of stuff going on there. But I'm saying if you're reading, if you grew up in the 90s and you love the shows and you love the cartoons and you read some comics and stuff, you're gonna naturally go towards the big two, I would say, and read your Batmans and read your Spider-Mans and your X-Men's and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. If you really didn't have that experience growing up and you just like good storytelling, indies are the way to go. Clearly, there's just not as much baggage. You don't need to know 60 years of Batman to get into him and understand all the different complications there. And X-Men's even worse. That's the hardest book to get into if you're new, because there's so many relationships that you just don't know about.
I'm right there with you, Nick. To be honest, do you know how many I grew up on the X-Men? Those were my guys growing up. Loved it. The Jim Lee era. How many times I've wanted to get back into the modern X-Men stuff, but I'm seeing constant reboots, constant new number ones, and just from like the peripheral, I see like just it seems overly complicated, like it is not intuitive at all to try to get into Marvel or X-Men, and so several times I want to get it, but then I stop myself because I don't need that. I don't need that headache, man, right now. I just want to read, like,
you just want to read a good story with interesting characters.
You know what I mean?
And what's annoying is like usually towards the end of the week, there's a lot of content creators that pump out like single comic issue reviews, and those guys have a lot of knowledge, and they're very big channels, right? And so what will happen is I'll read the book and I'll walk away going, okay, it was another X-Men book, whatever it is. And then I'll read their thing and they're like, oh, well, this guy rescued this guy because 40 years ago they had this big battle and they hated each other for the last 30 years, but now they're forced to work together. And I'm like, I didn't read any of that in this issue, but I didn't have any clue what was going on because I didn't read that for 30 years. But then I can pick up, something like Traveling to Mars and fall in love with like the third issue and be like, I know I have everything I need to know to love this book in this 3 issues so far. And there's no context outside of it that's going to like influence my decision, or give me a different experience than the next guy. And so for me, it's like, it's an accessibility problem and it's just a creativity problem. You don't have shackles with independent books and you do with big two. You can't do everything you want to do. And it's just better from a reader perspective.
Nick, I gotta say I am 100% with you on this one. I didn't think it was gonna happen. I saw your first 2 hot takes, but yes, I agree with everything you just said. And Frank saying I get burnt out if I only read indies or if I only read the big two. The indies have the higher highs. Indies also have the lower lows. DC has been killing it lately, in my opinion. I have been hearing a lot of good stuff about DC, what they've been doing lately.
Just to play a little devil's advocate with that. I would feel, I kind of feel the opposite. You said that everything you need to know is self-contained within this small story, but in my opinion, those small stories are better served in anthologies if they're only going to be 5 issues, if they're only going to be so short. You know what I mean? Why do I have to spend 5-6 months collecting this little backup story, in my opinion, because it has a definite end, definite beginning. Characters are not going to carry over. There's not going to be a part 2. So this is just a one and done thing you're reading. One and done thing you're reading, for me, belongs in something like an anthology. Like it gives me, it doesn't leave me with anything that I can follow and take with me forward. And then I'm just reading another story and another story and another story with new characters. And for some people, I guess that's okay. But I like some weight and levity, and I like to follow something periodically, like what comic books are, right? They come out monthly and they give you that dose of what's happening with this character. Now, if you're interested in that character, you're down for the ride. You know what I mean? You're going to keep going. And when we all started collecting comic books, none of it was at a number one. There was no number one Spider-Man, no number one X-Men, no number one Hulk.
You jumped on when you could.
you jumped on, and when you found out these characters, if you loved that title well enough, you were excited to find out who the other guy was in that story. And that's when you start dollar bin diving and hunting. And I would say it encourages the hobby even further, just to play devil's advocate.
Yep.
On the, your preference of having this all-encompassed 5-issue mini, maybe 12-issue maxi, one and done story.
Yeah, I get that. Yep, just release it all at once if you're going to have just a contained 5-issue run. In other words, right?
Right.
Yeah, versus your continuation stories and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Shout out actual Dracula in the house.
What up?
Caught your interview with Buddy last night. Good stuff, man. Go check out actual Dracula YouTube channel.
Did a show.
I think the last time Fable and I were on a morning show like this was on his channel, like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now figure drawing, he's keeping it real. He's saying, I think it's a mild take, big too common to get dumped on. Oh, thank you, my man. Sergio Def highlights a lot of dope indie books.
Well, to argue that, it's because we're indie lovers. I mean, you know what I mean? Like you're watching an indie channel, and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you go to your comic book shop, look how many Swan songs are on the shelf versus ASMs, and tell me that's not a general rule. You know what I mean?
One thing that I would agree with you on is the limitless possibilities with an indie book. If you want to do a kaiju versus a Smurf comic book, you can do a kaiju versus a Smurf comic book.
And Scott Snyder can write it, and Martin Simmons can draw it.
Right, if you do it good enough, it might be the best thing in the world. You get another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It'll be the pick of the week.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say Image is not.
Hey, I covered that. Nope, that's off the table. I covered that in the beginning.
But I think in Nick's defense, he said anything non-big two. Let's just
I had to clarify
the conversation. Yeah.
Total. But I agree. There's like a big 3.5 now, right? So
agreed. Yeah. DC, unlike Marvel, has a ton of self-contained stuff. Yes. And I just wanted to real quick revisit this. Where is it? No, that's not the comment. Where is it? Was that the one? Oh yeah, I get burnt out if I only read indies or only read the Now for me, the variety in indie is so great that I don't get burnt out reading just indie stuff. Now I will say that I do like to sprinkle in a good, capes and cowl, a good superhero story every now and then, because that's my first love, right? And I love just mixing it up every once in a while. I'm trying to think the most recent superhero book I've read. Superman Lost started off cool. What else have I?
It's still a good book, yeah.
Blue Beetle, So yeah, I mean, I love my DC stuff, man.
You need that nostalgic dopamine hit, right? So like, if you're reading a bunch of just random characters and doing random stories, and there's no like nostalgic familiarity there, it's good to throw a Spider-Man or an X-Men or a Superman or something like that in there, just to kind of get that familiarity hit.
Yes, sir. Couldn't agree more. All right. So yeah. I dig those hot takes, man. I mean, we will have an in-depth dissection after the recording on the merits of the Snyder Cut, but we'll leave that for post-show discussion, man.
And yet I got a 2 on that. I don't understand. Yeah.
And just to keep it moving, I won't dwell too much on my hot takes, but this is what I'm thinking, folks. DC Comics would be better off without Batman and should retire him permanently. Now, here's my thinking. DC creatively relies too heavily on Batman. It's not an exaggeration to say about half of DC titles are Batman or Batman-related books.
75%. I'd say. We go further than that.
In general, with superhero books, how many different ways can you tell a superhero story? Now you're making the sandbox smaller. How many different ways can you tell a Batman story? Right? I think. Listen, I don't hate Batman. I think he's overused way too often, man. The thing about DC, they have so many dope characters, man. You know, that you could build great stories, great worlds, universes, great runs around. You know, someone like Firestorm. When was the last time we've seen him? You know, get a regular run. You know, I don't Deadman. You know, I know the
Night Terrors
stuff, but right. But I mean, like, it's just every event seems to surround, or Batman seems to be central character, and I think creatively it's so lazy because you've got this grounded superhero, and somehow he always seems to rescue the day against some great big cosmic, you know, like it's ridiculous.
Prep Time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck Prep Time, man. I'm so sick of Prep Time. You know, I don't want to see. I don't want to see any more Batman books. Retire him. Give these other great DC characters more shine, man. And you know the argument I keep hearing often as well. DC sells. Excuse me, Batman sells. Batman sells is the highest rating. It's because that's the only thing you're putting out there. It's kind of like the chicken or the egg kind of argument. Build up these other characters slowly. You know, will sales take a dip initially? I think so, for sure. I think it's hard to argue against that. But I think over time, you're gonna see these great stories revolving around these other wonderful characters, man. I'm with Robin here. Fuck Batman. Get him.
Oh boy.
Whew. Fable, you want to take that first, or you want me to dive in there? What do you think?
I know what he's saying. and I agree to the point of like they're oversaturating their line with Batman books, because I myself am a humongous Batman fan, and I have several short boxes filled with just mini series and offshoots from that universe, let alone his main title. So I get it, but retire the character, I think that's impossible. Only because of, well, let's go from a real world standpoint. Financially would be dumb, right? Financially does not make sense. The books will not reflect that at all. You have to continue Batman. Now, from a fan standpoint, we're talking about a character that's been able to weather the storm of 80 years, decades, 8 decades of time, change, war, social changes in our world. So Batman clearly resonates with maybe a primordial side of the human psyche that we don't even try to even think about, because why do we all find him so goddamn cool? He was created in the 20s, for God's sakes, and he's just so cool, even 80 years later. So, Sergio, your hot take is definitely on fire, my brother. Number 5 for you. Five tamales, whatever you want to call it for you, for saying that. But I can't sit there and I can't disagree with you, brother. We need to dial it back a little bit. Maybe retire Bruce Wayne. Not so much Batman, but Bruce Wayne. His story is finished. Maybe we need a new Batman. But Batman himself? Hell no, brother.
Figure drives feeling. You say you got triggered. Okay. What's comics? Russ said, what did he say? Retire Batman. You're wrong for this. Hey, I'm saying, man, give these other characters some shine.
Wait, so I say don't buy DC, and it's a 2, but people say, oh, no, Batman's the best. This is a 5. Wait a minute. You want to get rid of Batman permanently? I'm saying don't even buy the book. What are you talking about?
Figure saying Batman may be the most OP character. It's ridiculous how OP he is. It makes absolutely no fucking sense, man. It's just stop it. Stop Batman. No. Get rid of the whole Bat family. I don't want to see anything.
I might agree with that one. That might
you gotta
not be
keep
so much of a
You gotta keep Cassandra and Damian. Everybody else can go.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Dick gotta stay. Sorry.
I don't have any history with him, so I could care less. He's not my Robin, so I don't care.
Man, not just in the comic side, movies. How many Batman movies do we have?
Well, we got
Versus
the
how
trash.
many-
We got the trash Justice League, and then we got the.
how many of the the 80s and the 90s Batman films, and then you got the Nolan trilogy. It's just we got like a good 8-9 Batman movies.
Do you know
versus,
who's? Yeah.
like come on.
Do you know
Not
whose
to
fault
mention all
it
the
is?
serials and all the television shows he's had over the decades. So.
Yeah.
Folks, go out and buy a Superman book. Go out and demand a firestorm. Go out and pick up the new Blue Beetle. Never mind. Benny's saying Batman invalidates all the shit DC tries to do. His plot armor at this point could not agree more. So someone give this guy a promotion to moderator, please. Fat mod. Benny, thank you. I'm feeling you, baby.
I mean, although we hate it, let's be honest here. DC is a business at the end of the day. There must be some pie or some chart or some graph in their office that says no matter what we do, if we put Batman on this, people will buy it. Now, if people are buying it, are we wrong? Are we wrong?
No, because people speak with their money, so they're not. They're just reacting to the industry. And you know whose fault it is for Batman being so enjoyable? It's Tim Burton's fault because he made 89. He made Batman. He changed Batman so much and made him into the Dark Knight that he is. And then Frank Miller did a lot of work in that too. So it's like and then the animated series came out. So like there were so many reasons why he's such a cool character. And there's so many reasons why people resonate with him as much as they do. And like Fable said, there's some kind of like primordial thing about him that just resonates with everybody. So
because we can't resonate with Bruce Wayne. None of us are billionaires. So how the hell does that work? How did we get the rich guy? How are we so behind the rich guy here? It's because Batman looks cool as shit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep tapping, pointing to the GIF there. Moving on. What else do we got here? Did I skip one? Yeah. So comic book speculators and vendors are ruining the comic book industry. Now I know this is probably gonna ruffle a lot of feathers because I know, a lot of channels, a lot of even fellow friends and stuff, they do the whole speculation thing on their channels and on their pages and this and that or the other. I'm tired of seeing it. I think I'm not to say that there's a wrong way. There's no wrong way to collect comics. Let me start off. But when the focus is on the majority is what's the big key this week and a million sites dedicated to pricing and market manipulation, because folks, it is 100% manipulation. When that's all that you're doing, or the majority, the bulk of your coverage, and you're not actually just buying comics to enjoy the content. You're not posting content to just talk about the books themselves. I think, well, I mean, where's the fun in that? When you're manipulating things just to make an extra dollar. Now, I have nothing against shops, okay, or reselling comics. I've done it myself, right? But there's guys who are clearly, and you got big brands, influencers, hyping shit up, for the sake of a buck. I think that's bullshit, to be honest. I hate that. I hate seeing that. I don't personally, I don't watch content or channel, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, or these sites that focus on this stuff, right? It's no fun. Like, where's the love? Like, where's the love for like these characters and these stories and these creators? You know what I mean? Yeah. I think I don't want to see any more of that, so that's where I'm at with that. Yeah,
that's a good one. I think that speculators and vendors are ruining the comic book industry. So I think it's a necessary evil, unfortunately, in this medium, because it is pretty widely. There's a lot of people that buy comic books, but imagine a situation where there wasn't a speculator market at all in our industry, and then tell me how many copies of Poison Ivy you're selling when there's not a Frizzen cover or something like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or a Catwoman cover without freaking Zerdy on it or something like that, So it's like you need people that are just there to create hype, to plug more money and eyes into the industry to keep it going. So my hot take would be a kind of a mod of this who would say, without the speculators, the comic book industry would be worse. It's because you need those eyes, you need that stuff. But I agree that it's an evil, but unfortunately, I think it's a necessary evil to keep things going because there's not a whole lot of money in comics to begin with. And the way you get more money is by creating false hype. And the way you create false hype is by creating variants and crazy, stupid first appearances and deaths of characters. So it's like, it's an evil, but it's a necessary evil. So I see where you're coming from for sure, though.
See, I would say to that, Nick, I say you want to hype up the industry, just hype up the content itself,
You can, but
there's so many great creators and stories out there that because I see it's been happening for a couple of years now, like this bubble, like this 90s bubble, right? You got a million variants, you got a million reprints, you got like all this speculation bubble, and that almost destroyed specifically like the superhero comics in the 90s, right? Almost bankrupted, shops and the publishers, and it did, in fact, for quite a few shops. I don't think it's healthy, man.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like take it, but again, and so to Frank's point here, I don't see why people hate variant covers. I know so many people at the shops that I go to, they don't read comics. They go there and they have a stack that thick because they like the covers. And I'm like, okay, so if you took the cover away and you just had cover A's, you don't make that shop doesn't make that $100 that week.
Yeah.
Those people don't make those numbers on polls every week, those distributors and those publishers. So it's like, or hey, first appearance of freaking, you have it on the screen right there, jackpot. That's not even a first appearance, but apparently it's a key. Why? Because it's a 300 homage, and she's in costume. So it's like, is that a key? I don't know.
That's crazy.
Who cares?
Yeah, and I get true keys. Okay, but when you're having a list of 10 keys of the week, no, there's no such thing as 10.
And that's a small week. There's usually like 16.
I'd argue you could get like 10 keys in a year, maybe, if
for sure.
Truly,
for sure.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, I don't know. It's anyways, I could keep going on with this one in particular. What are you thinking, my man?
I mean, as far as spicy, I don't think this is a spicy hot take. I think a lot of people agree with you. I think a ton of people agree with you. Actually, it might be the least spiciest take tonight, this morning. So I don't know. But I agree with Nick on the necessary evil portion of it because I think it serves two purposes. One, it weeds out the real readers, right? Like in a way, it exposes people, right? Because if you know if you've been following Spider-Man, guess what? You know there's a new character coming out next week if you've been reading your books. You know what I mean? So it kind of exposes a little bit of people not reading books and just going after the money stuff, right? But at the same time, it offers a spice. It offers I don't know how to explain it, like a sauce. It's an extra little thing for the people that need that thing. You know what I mean? That want that cover from 𝐬𝐭𝐸 and all that. And also, it's a resource for you as well. For the one that doesn't speculate, maybe you should pay attention because maybe your favorite series, the next issue, is being pre-ordered out the ass, and you don't want to be the one stuck paying $20 for it because you want to continue the story, not because of the cover or the first appearance. You just want to continue the story. Now, the speculators caught it before you did, you know what I mean? And now you're like, God damn it, I don't want to pay $15 for this damn book or $10 or whatever it is. So maybe if you had heard from these kind of people that it was going to be that kind of book, you won't miss out. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you shouldn't miss out if you're reading your books. That's my point, though.
Yeah, if it's on your poll list, you're not going to miss out anyway.
Yeah, you should know already that something down the line. You're reading your stuff.
Yeah.
I think just read and buy what you like, folks.
Yeah.
Don't forget all the other nonsense. Now, Frank, I don't hate variant covers. I love variant covers. I do love the dope, but like when like Figure Drawing saying when you have 1,000,001 variants for one issue, you know, I think it's a bit much. It's a bit ridiculous, right? Do we need that, you know, many? It's insane.
No, the saturation part of it is just the race to the bottom that we were talking about earlier. That's a whole different thing. But to have one B cover, I don't think that's a terrible.
No.
I don't
No,
think
no,
there's
not at
nothing
all.
evil or
Not
bad
at all.
or manipulative about it. I just
Yeah.
think it's an option. Why
Yeah.
not have options? We have options with our toys, our comics, our cars. You know what I mean? Why not have an option?
Yeah, AB's
I
good.
agree with you. I agree with
Yeah.
you. Nerdtastic News in the house.
What a man, eh?
This is your people's, eh?
Hey, shit.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
What's going on, Manny?
Brother right there.
Now, just an adjacent, you know, the other thing here, Frank, talking about the CGCs, another kind of thing. Why is everything being offered up in a slab? Every modern book is offered up as a CGC op. It's not necessary, folks. I don't. In my opinion, it's not necessary. Like I've got a handful. You know, I get like the one up there. I don't know if you probably can't see it, but it's a 1967. It's the first Flash Superman race. You know.
Yeah.
Does Smurfs versus Kaiju #1 need a 9.8 CGC slab?
Who drew it?
You know,
Who drew it?
right? You know,
Danny Warren Johnson.
Was it? Oh, slab it. Slab it. Slab it.
everything's getting slab, and it's insane. I can't believe it, man. You know, and it's
No, I agree with you, dude.
CGC thing is a whole nother discussion, but
Yeah,
yeah.
because you could get into with CGC. There's just like there's nuances with all the sections of our hobby. There's nuances with the slabs, right? Like some people want it for preservation. Some people want it to decorate their wall. Some people want it to sell. You know what I mean? And it's like there's a war within that community.
And Jen's in for the Kaiju versus Smurfs. She's digging it.
Yeah, let's go.
9/8 all day. Yep.
Yeah. Slap me up, baby. Slap me up. Christopher Evans in the house. What's going on, my man? Great to see you. He's saying the slab thing is interesting to me, but I dig it. I'd slab a book I love and keep it as a piece of art.
Yeah. You know what I started doing? I started thinking back the year before, and I started saying, now, what was like my top 3 favorite books of the entire year? And you know what I started doing? Most of them were easily accessible, obviously modern since the past year. And I go on eBay and buy them for $45 at a 9.8. I have a stack of them over here of like my favorite books for the last 2 or 3 years as 9.8s.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? Because for me personally, they were my favorite books of the year. Yeah. And I can get them at a 9.8 at cost. So why not? It's part, I mean, we collect all sorts of crazy crap. So why not have those?
Now, let me ask you, Nick, are you slabbing it for the protection, or you like to display how it shows on the wall?
I slab it as like a trophy, honestly. Okay. Maybe that's even another thing, because it's like, listen, this is my this is the cream of the crop. I read hundreds of books a year.
Yeah.
I mean, hundreds of books a year. So when I think about like the top 3, I get them as a slab, as like a preservation / award.
I got you.
So yeah,
I got you. Hip hop saying some people just love the artist and want it encapsulated for protection. Collectors gotta love us. Oh, for sure.
And like anything, like human beings like making a game out of anything, right? So when you sending out your books and you know that the 9.8 is the top thing, so you know you're salivating. Did I get a 9.8? You know, we just make it a game too. Like we always do that with everything. Like.
Yeah,
we get the books back. Oh, 9.8, and you've seen people get a 9.6, and their whole face just crumbles. They look like they're gonna die. Like,
well, that's
this book was perfect.
Yeah.
How they'll melt down.
Yeah, figure I'm not rubbing anything in anybody's. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say, Frank, agreeing with you there, kind of on your favorite books, right? Getting slabbed.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's not the right. Yeah, I'm gonna rub my Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow #1 slab in people's faces. Look what I got, folks.
Oh, man.
I'm so jealous of you, Nick.
Look at my Radio Apocalypse slab.
I'm gonna keep it moving, baby. Last hot take from the panel here. there should not be more than one superhero sharing the same mantle.
Derivative characters.
This is my, and I'll tell you why. My argument has always been, you know, it waters down the uniqueness of these characters, whether it's Flash or Spider-Man or
Hulk.
the Hulk, right? Wolverine, you know,
Yes.
Iron Man. Like these are our golden age. These are great characters, right? Now you're not only making, you know, new Spider-Mans, new Hulks, but they're getting whole families, and there's like a whole clan of these. Like it's ridiculous. I don't feel a need for it. I think it waters down the uniqueness, the quality of the original character. Now which ones should stay, which ones should go, that's a whole other argument, you know. But I just feel like there should be one Flash, there should be one Spider-Man, there should be one Hulk, you know, so on and so forth. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah.
I gotta agree with this take. So I don't know if it's that spicy. I often tell the fellas in the back chats on the Instagrams, I often say, why isn't Miles Morales the lead in ASM? What are we waiting for? Why do we have to create separate titles? Why do we have to do that? Why isn't Miles the lead? Because when I look outside on Halloween, like you're going to see this October 31st, look at the children dressed as Spider.
A lot of black and red.
You're going to see a ton of Miles Morales. So, I mean, I got to agree. Peter Parker, he's the man. I love Peter Parker, you know. Got me so into this universe, this pop culture stuff, but his time has come, man. You know, Miles is reigning. The people are saying it. So why not just have one? What's the issue? So yeah, no, I gotta agree with the take, man. You can have a mantle pass, but just one version. And to speak on your thing, that Edge of Spider-Verse and all that Spider-Verse and Spider-Verses and all the million Spider-Man, I'm so tired of that, dude. I collected like 3 of those series, and they all were just like, what's the point in this? So yeah. No, agree, 100%.
Yeah, I feel the same way, honestly, about that. I think the reason they needed to do that is because these characters, it goes back to what I was saying before, these characters are so old from a creation standpoint to now that people are getting bored of that character, so they need to spice things up, and so they need to show love and diversity and equality and everything, so they start passing the mantles to different people and introducing different kinds of stuff. And they're in a position now where it's like, okay, now we have 9 different bat people. And we have how many Flash now? I mean, counting the kids and counting, you know, didn't Iris get it for a while? And like, I don't know. And then Spider-Man is like all over the place. And so it's like, I agree in mantle passing, not derivative characters. You don't have the two coexist for decades. You gotta say, hey, Batman's gotta tap out. Hey, Dick Grayson, you know, maybe do you want to relieve your Nightwing and do you want to go into this or hey, Miles, Peter's just getting too. Listen, he's growing up. You know, he's got a family. He's finally settling down. Miles, you're taking the mantle. We're dropping. You're now ASM.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're no longer Miles Morales Spider-Man because that's stupid, and you're not doing the character justice because Miles is the best Spider-Man book out right now.
Yes, sir.
For sure. There's no doubt about it. And so, pass the mantle. Stop making derivative characters. Totally agree.
Great points, gentlemen. And I do want to clarify. I don't have a problem with passing the mantle, creating. You know,
sharing the same mantle, exactly.
Right? It's sharing. Like there should only be one. Like when Barry Allen died and the Flash became, Wally West became the main Flash. He should have stayed and he was for a while. But then they brought Barry Allen back. I think in that specific case, it cheapened Barry's sacrifice, right?
Of course, it always does.
Wally was doing just fine. Miles Morales. Like I'm not sure, was it Fable or Nick saying, I mean, your time is up, Peter Parker. I love Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I love Peter Parker, folks. I do. He was my Spider-Man growing up.
But tap out, dude. Tap out.
But it's time. Miles is the one. He's the, you know what I mean? And he's great.
How many people have you heard say in the last 3 years that they're tired of seeing Peter broken down on his luck? They almost push him back down to zero just to justify his reason to be Spider-Man. How many times can you retell I got bit by a radioactive Spider-Man, spider, and with great responsibility comes great. I mean, listen, the way you can keep this going and tell whole new experiences is a new guy in that costume.
100%.
Yeah.
And you know, when Miles' time, you know, he starts to stagnate in whatever 20, 30 years or whatever, then bring in the next Spider.
The next guy.
You know?
Yeah.
Why?
Or lady. Or whoever.
Yeah, who knows what it'll look like then. Yeah.
Spoiler, let's take a look at some of the comments. Spoiler King saying, I think the only one that is okay is the Green Lantern because they are part of the Green Lantern.
That makes sense. That's a core. Yeah.
But even that, why is Earth got like a half dozen Green Lanterns and there's whole sections of the universe that have got one? Do we need multiple Green Lanterns on Earth?
Well, the Watcher just sits on the moon and stares at Earth all day. So,
and overall in the house, my main man, he's saying no more than the doppelganger. Okay. Figure. Meanwhile, Sergio liked to cross the Spider-Verse with a billion Spider-Man cake. Hey, listen.
Different topic. Different topic.
It's a great animated film. It's a great film, period.
Yeah.
You know, okay. That's a whole nother show.
All right, Manny. What do you got?
Nerdtastic saying, I don't mind there being multiple family members, especially when they have their own names like the Flash and Bat Family characters, but Spidey. Spidey. Okay.
No, I get that too. Because I like X-23. I just don't like when they call her Wolverine. I like her being X-23. You know, I dig her being Laura Kinney and who she is, not Wolverine.
Yeah. The other thing was Captain America. It's like when I read a Captain America book now and I see Sam and I see Steve in the same page and they're always like, hey Cap. It's like, oh God, can you not do that?
Sounds like you gentlemen are agreeing for the most part. Steven, my main man, Costco run is about to begin. Hey, on a Sunday, bro?
It's better than a Saturday.
Thank you so much. And good show.
Later, Steve.
Enjoy the rest of the week. Hey, my man, Steve, it was a pleasure having you in the chats. Looking forward to next Sunday with Steve from the Team Nerd Herd podcast, man.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler King's good point, man. Yeah, you know, I just quickly before we wrap this up, I'm kind of, like you mentioned, like X-23 versus Wolverine. I'm kind of there with you as well, Fable. Like they're different enough, got a different name, but when you have the same character with the same name, Flash, Spider-Man, Hulk, Iron Man,
Captain America,
right? So just forget it. So there you have it, folks.
You walk into the MC and you go, hey, Spider-Man, and it goes like, hey, and hey. Around, hi, hey, oh.
It's crazy.
Surrounded by assholes.
Thank you so much for now. I'll take a look at the the subscriber count. We're still at 755, so it looks like we didn't ruffle too many feathers, but a lot of our views tend to come from the replay. So we'll see. We'll see if it stays at 755. Man,
that's a good point.
That was a blast. I am still a little cheesed about the whole Snyder cut being trashed. Man. And that was you too. Sometimes you gotta take it too far, man.
So we could all agree that with my too little takes, I just roasted everybody, right? We could agree.
Oh yeah, those were good. Those were good. You know what was so hard about picking those? Because like you're thinking about hot takes and you're like, well, yeah, that's a general consensus, right? It's like everybody thinks this, right? So it's hard to figure out like what your personal opinions are that are different than others. It's weird.
Hey man,
it's not what we said, Frank. But yeah, it's trash.
I love Spider-Boy.
Shazam family.
I roll.
I got you. How are you guys doing on time? I know we're kind of doing we got the push it to the 2 hour. We got enough time to go over our book.
I can make it if you need to. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. Before we move on to our week in review, folks, I did want to talk about. I'm trying to get this banner out of the way. Got an upcoming book on FOC that I wanted to talk about real quick here on Monday. let's get into a new little segment that I like to call, yes, simple enough, some upcoming heat. Here we go.
Nice.
Upcoming heat, baby, on FOC this Monday, tomorrow, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. We got the advanced review. Shout out IDW, man. This is where's my banner? Here we go. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, #1, from writer and artist, cartoonist Patrick Horvath, lettered by the great Hassan Otsman Elhau. Folks had the pleasure of reading a review copy of this bad boy, and I'm telling you, you're gonna want to pre-order this bad boy. Do not miss out. I think when folks get their hands on it en masse and they start talking about it, it's gonna sell out, man. You got a great think Dexter meets a world set in the Berenstain Bears universe or something like that, man. You've got this universe where you've got these what's the word, anthropomorphic characters, right? So,
I learned that word on the Robbie's channel last month.
Yeah, so they're all animals and stuff. And our main bear, she's a serial killer, right? And a low-key undercover serial killer, man. And it's great because you've got this jarring in a good way style between the art, right? But the content itself. There was one page in here, folks. I was legit. I said, "Holy shit!" Like it blew me away. Nick, have you had the chance to?
No, but it's on my radar for sure. I've had this pre-order for a long time because I remember I went through my FOCs and I'm like, first off, the cover for cover A is insane with this like very innocently top-down look of this Berenstain Bear dragging a bloody bag, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I love the style of cover B. It's just really cool style, but there's a lot of skulls and stuff. You gotta look through the background to see the demented part of it. And then I read the solicitation. I'm like, oh, this looks like it's gonna be really fun. So it's been on my FOC for a while.
I think you're absolutely gonna love it, Nick. So small town serial killer in hiding, and there's a great, I don't want to give away too much because there's a great twist as to like how she's gonna kind of almost not come out of hiding, but it's just great storytelling, a fantastic debut issue. Hassan does his thing on letters. I love the artwork, the kind of almost washed color palette there. Really, really good. I think a lot of folks are gonna be talking about this one, and again, just the contents are very, very gory, man. I love it. There was a page that is not here. I didn't want to throw it up, but oh crap. Okay. Great stuff. So that is my upcoming heat of the week. Be sure to pre-order Where Nobody Sees #1 from IDW Publishing on FOC. And there's the code right there. Due in shops October 18th. Perfect for the spooky.
Oh yeah,
there, man. You guys are gonna love it, man. And then excited to talk about it in full when it drops. So besides that, I asked Fable and I asked Nick to talk about one of their favorite books that they've read recently. So let's get in for a quick little week in review.
Fable, we gotta get our B-roll ready, bud.
We doing really good.
Hey, my man.
Killing it.
Hey, thank you, my man. Have a little bit of fun here for the folks.
Yeah, dude.
Diddy Bobs, help me keep my spirits up during these long shows.
Awesome.
Figure, I missed this, buddy. I had a question for you, Nick. Have you ever read Black Sad?
No, I have not. I have not read that one, but I keep like a long list of books that people keep talking about, and so I got to add it to that list. I appreciate you throwing that out there.
There you go. There's your comment. I just saw now.
No, no worries.
So up first, Fable, my man, what's going on, baby?
Yeah, man. So I'm the type of guy that I really should be reading trades instead of floppies, but I just love floppies so much that I still collect floppies. But I stack a lot of my stories, so I don't really read comic books as they come out. I kind of read them 5 issues at a time. That makes any sense? So I'm finally up to the Fall of X, and I'm a huge X-Men fan. I'm the kind of X-Men fan that supports X-Men no matter what, right? Like it could be going through a bad time, a bad writer, a bad artist. I'm still going to buy that. I'm still going to spend that $4 every month to pick up my latest X-Men. Not necessarily everything in the damn universe, but X-Men for sure, right? So, everybody's been talking crap about the Krakoan age and how stagnant it is and nothing's really going on. Hickman's not around, this and that. And I can't even disagree with a lot of people and their thoughts on that. You know what I mean? I gotta echo some of that. That is true. That being said, destroying Krakoa has been a freaking ball, man. I don't know if you guys read
Yeah, it has.
Hellfire Gala, but my man comes through and just lays the smack down on the Krakoan era. I mean, they totally destroyed this thing in about an hour. Like, it was amazing how quick all these years of buildup got destroyed in one freaking one night or whatever it may be. And then, following that up, you get this X-Men 25, and guys, this is both written by the same guy. Jerry Duggan is the head writer on both of these titles. And he follows up the Gala with an amazing issue of X-Men where he takes one of my favorite X-Men of all time, Kitty Pryde, and turns her into the character she's kind of always meant to be. Her name used to be Shadowcat. Yep. And her power set, if you don't know, she can go through things, which makes her extremely deadly. And man, in X-Men 25, she gets to show you how deadly she can actually be. And it has emotional ramifications. It's just not like, the Krakoan stuff where like, we just kick ass because we're cool. You know what I mean? She's actually feeling the trauma of what she's doing because she knows she's a good girl. She knows she ain't a murderer. But man, does she murder so cool. Her power. So yeah, Hellfire Gala 2023 and X-Men 25. If you hate the Krakoan era, I would say pick this up because they destroyed the shit out of it.
Yeah, they
Get
did.
it, man.
Okay. So I haven't read X-Men in years. I'm not caught up at all, but I'm seeing some familiar. Is this what's Buddy's name here? The Sentinel.
Nimrod.
Nimrod,
yes.
And Iceman.
Yeah. And then is that Mr. Fantastic? Or
No.
So that's
Dr. Stasis.
That's Dr. Stasis, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like a clone of Sinister.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's all these different clones of Sinister out right now, and they all have their own agendas and stuff. And so this is like the main one that we're focused on, aside from Mother Righteous, which is a whole nother thing.
Well, Christopher, get on it, Christopher. Buy the Hellfire Gala 2023. I guarantee you'll enjoy the Destroy It, man.
Okay.
Yeah, and Hickman's run of X-Men in the Krakoa era is some of the best writing we've ever had, I think. But I'm pretty biased on that.
And I see my boy Bishop back there. I love me some Bishop. Okay, so you
still around.
You were digging X-Men 25 and Hellfire Gala, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Beautiful. Great Duggan. I think gets I don't know. He's just not noticed at all. Like he's just known for like taking over people's books and continuing the momentum. I don't think he really has any kind of like people really behind him, like feeling like he's a great writer. But after Savage Avengers, which happens to be one of my favorite runs that I've picked up since I started collecting. I don't know if you guys have read Savage Avengers. Awesome book from Jerry Duggan. So I'm happy to see him knock these 2 issues out the freaking park, man. Show people what he's capable of.
Figure dropping in the contrarian here, my friend saying X-Men 25 was brutal.
That issue was it was brutal. And so what was really cool about that issue was a lot of people that were hating X-Men for the last couple of years, since Hickman left, a lot of them came together at the end of issue number 25 and said, "Did you read issue number 25? Holy shit. All that stuff that happened in there." That was an issue that even got the haters to go, "Wow, I can't believe they did that." Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah, because at the end of the gala, Kitty is put into a predicament where she's surrounded by a bunch of enemies, right? And then in issue 25 of X-Men, they don't talk about any of it until the very end. And they ask her, "Hey, what happened to you when you went off and, you know, were facing these guys?" And then they show it. And some of the coolest freaking panels of X-Men in a long time. So, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was a great scene for sure.
Good to hear folks are enjoying X-Men, one of my first loves. Nick, what do you got, my man?
I got the pick of the week. The pick of the week was Swan Songs issue number 3, W. Maxwell Prince and Philip Andrade. I don't know if you guys are following, well, I'm sure friends of the channel and everybody's into like Ice Cream Man and stuff like that, but W. Maxwell Prince is doing some insanely beautiful stuff, and Philip Andrade is doing some amazing artwork in here too. This is a kind of like, you know, they're one and done's kinds of stories. There's no really continuation thread. So it's something we've seen from this creative team before. This issue was beautifully written and beautifully drawn because it kind of retells the story of Adam and Eve through a post-apocalyptic lens. And so it's kind of like the game Fallout. If you ever played game Fallout, just imagine opening that hatch right on your vault, and then you step out and you're in a world that's completely different than the world you remember. You've been living on rations. Maybe you didn't even know what that world looked like. Maybe you weren't even born yet. You were born in this apocalypse. And this is a story about 2 different individuals that escape their hatch. One's a male, one's a female. Clear Adam and Eve similarities. They meet up, they find each other. They have only what's in their backpacks, the rations they have, the knowledge that they've accumulated in their hiding, and they come together. And it's actually a story about how they thrive together and they form a relationship, and they actually start using some of the knowledge that they've accumulated and some of the other things, kind of like rules. All right. If you remember, what was that book or that movie, Zombieland, where they said like rule 1 or cardio, and rule 2, the double tap, and rule 3, the whatever. They kind of use their upbringings, and they develop these rules for life in a way. But they're basing the rules for life on Adam's, I forget his name, but Adam's book that he brings out, which is a zombie survival guide. So he's actually basing their rules of life on the zombie survival guide, and they're the only 2 left in the world. And then this is also a story towards the back end about what happens when outside, when there was more people than just them. What happens when another group of people comes over to them? It seems like a real peaceful, quiet, tranquil environment. They're surrounded by mysterious birds, and they've created land and everything else. And it's like, what happens when they actually start mixing their cultures together? So really, really cool, beautifully well done book. Interesting take on like an Adam and Eve in a post-apocalyptic world, and kind of a shocking, brutal ending as well. So amazing on all fronts. Great story, great art, cool twist at the end. Yeah, everything you want in a book.
You are a man of good taste, sir. I love Felipe Andrade's artwork, man, and his colors. And Jen here in the house agreeing with you.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, Swan Songs is amazing. Colors on this issue are amazing. Man, he always seems to nail Felipe, his color work. It's soft, often pastel-y, right? Beautiful.
Calming. Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is. It does. His artwork does have that effect, eh?
It's calming, but like his like, if you look at his like the cover of this book, or just the facial expressions, there's also something like sinister about the way he draws a face. Like, it's a little unnerving, but it's also calming at the same time. So it's a cool dichotomy there.
Did you read the preview for Rare Flavors? The Ash Can dropped a couple weeks back.
This is kind of a sore subject with me.
Oh, okay.
I ordered 2 copies of the Ash Can.
Yeah.
Week 1 didn't show up. It's coming. Week 2 didn't show up. It's coming. Week 3 came. It's coming. Week 4, we're probably in week 4 now. Still hasn't showed up. Losing faith. So I'm probably gonna have to just go on eBay.
No,
Nick, it's on my radar from the beginning, though.
I think you could get it on Midtown, bro. I'll order
well, wherever. When it doesn't, eBay is just my default. Yeah.
I've got you. We'll talk after the show, man. If you're having a hard time, I've got like several copies of the
Yeah.
of the Ashcan, so
I didn't see a lot of love, but I think I remember you showing it off too. So I'm like, okay,
It's
that's
such
killing me.
a beautiful. It's just a preview. The preview wasn't black and white.
Yeah.
But I had the chance to read the full issue in colors, and it's beautiful, man. And
Yeah.
Ram is always, he does his thing, man. He's such an elegant writer, you know. He's got this like almost poetic style to him. Really, just
yeah, for sure. Detective even too. He can take a character like that and make it sing, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man. So Swamp Things, I gotta check it out, man. I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about this series.
Oh, you're gonna love it. Knowing your interests, yeah.
Yeah, and then Jen's been like, she's a couple times I've seen her post about this book. So man, I think that's one for sure. And then I'll do my top pick of the week real quick, folks. Hunt for the Skinwalker from Boom Studios, written by Zach Thompson, on art Valeria Burso, I believe her name is, and then I had to throw up the sick Cecilia variant on the right. I love it, man. I'm a big fan of her artwork, her style.
That's cool.
And then she's local to Toronto as well too. But this was easily my top read of the week, man. What's cool about this is the comic is based on the novel Hunt for the Skinwalkers, which is based on real events on this ranch out in, I want to say somewhere like in the Midwest in the States, not Ohio, somewhere. Or I think actually I've got a slide here. Where is that? Utah, excuse me.
Yeah.
Utah. And there's a lot of weird, crazy, supernatural phenomena that's been happening on this ranch. That's been documented and corroborated. And so this comic is based on the book by this doctor and I guess this researcher. And the pacing, the mood, the atmosphere on this book was really great. I was legit. I'm a sucker for like sci-fi and supernatural aliens and think maybe Fire in the Sky, type vibe. Yeah, this was really, really well done. I enjoyed this very much, and I gotta be honest. Initially, I was a little bit with the previews before I read. I was a little put off by the art style. Not necessarily was feeling it right away, my cup of tea, but it definitely grew on me, and just great overall debut issue that I recommend folks check this one out. Actually, they announced a second printing. This sold out at the distributor, so seems to be resonating with folks. Yeah, this was cool. And Zach Thompson, I'm a big fan. He does his damn thing always, man. So yeah. That's my top. Curious if anybody's read it. Let us know on the socials or let us know in the comments and the chats. What did you guys think? So we got top reads of the week from Fable was X-Men 25 and Hellfire Gala. Nick had Swan Songs number 3, and then I've got Hunt for the Skinwalker. And Nick, honestly, I feel like if you haven't read this, I feel like both of you guys would be into.
Oh yeah, it's right. It's right up my alley. Yeah, we just haven't.
Yeah. So that's I think that's about it for the show, folks. Man, I'm gonna remind folks again. Next Friday or this Friday, we've got the Sickness team hanging out with us here in the house. Lonnie Nadler and Jenna Cha, man, excited to have them. The Sickness is actually pretty fucking sick. It's nice. You read it and it's disturbing. It's unsettling. You're just not sure how to feel. Yeah. So love it. Be sure to pick up issue number 2, dropping on Wednesday, folks. Ooh. We crossed the 2-hour mark. Yeah, the artwork is dope, Alvaro. I think you dig it, man. Check it out, homie. Yeah. Where can folks, one more time, man? Where can folks find you, Nick, Fable? Where do they need to check you out, sub you up, all that good stuff, my man?
Yeah, go ahead.
Check me out at One Collection Down on Instagram and YouTube. Pay attention to YouTube because we're going to be going live from there within the next month or so at some point. And start doing our shows from there. Blame Fable and his amazing friends with Nick Comic Culture. And of course, my brother Joe. I can't forget to mention him. Brother Joe, such a great singer. He doesn't have an album out yet, but we're working on it. We're going to be on PCP Records.
Okay.
So yeah, no, come check us out on Saturdays, usually at 1 p.m. Eastern, and all the PCP Army Bad Batch guys. You know, Manny, he was in the chat earlier. Nick, of course, everybody that's in our groups too. Dr. Doom, Missing Link, Blood Splatter Chatter, Robbie, Pop Culture Philosophers, who's 6 awards, baby. Nominated for 6 awards, CBCA awards. So, yeah, check out the whole group, the whole gang. I'll be all over their stuff anyway. But yeah, for me personally, just Blame Fable and his amazing friends with Nick Comic Culture.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm over on everywhere. So Instagram, mostly, and then also on YouTube, of course. So, and I just do, you know, weekly review videos and haul videos and things like that. But you can find me at Comic Culture on YouTube and Comic Culture over on Instagram. So, and of course on the Blame Fable show. So, yep, loving it. Thanks for having us, dude. It was a blast.
Thank you so much for coming through. It was a blast. Definitely want to have you guys on the show again. And you know, I'll take another opportunity to just, you know, what you guys are doing really in this space, man, creating a great community, great vibe to your show, man.
Thank you, brother.
So looking forward to you guys, making the jump to YouTube, because I do find it easier to tune in on YouTube. IG, so
I want to make it easier for everybody to do the show and for everybody to follow the show. But if I had a preference, it would probably be Instagram. Like if Instagram had the YouTube settings, or, you know, if it was a mirror of YouTube, but just on Instagram, that's where I would probably do the content, because I'm more connected to the community there. You know what I mean? Like, we all have accounts, we all in chats. We can speak to each other really directly when it comes to it, but Instagram doesn't view their platform in that way. You know what I mean? So this is the best platform for creating video content. And I just want to make it easy for everybody to tune in, for Nick to do what he got to do, because we have ideas too, and we can't do the little, like he was saying earlier, he said, get the B-roll ready. You know, we never had to worry about B-roll. We never had to worry about little things like that. So now, you know, it's fun. It's a good adventure. It's cool.
For sure.
And I guarantee you, folks are gonna make the move because of what you guys have created, man. It's a great vibe, man. So I'm excited to check.
And thanks to you, everybody. Check out that last episode that Sergio was on, House of Nerds. That is our highest viewed episode to date.
Still great.
Yeah, it's just amazing how much the show has grown, and I thank you, Sergio, for having me on and for being on our show to help it grow, to give it a home on YouTube. That I know there'll be people there waiting for us.
Absolutely,
so thanks,
absolutely.
Man.
And you know, I hope once you guys make the jump to YouTube, you'll invite me back on. I had a blast with you guys, man. Folks, the links to their socials and their channels and all that good stuff is in the description of the video. Check them out, man. That's it, baby. It's a wrap. We're getting out of here. Where's my outro video? There we go. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Fable, Nick, you guys were amazing, man. Thanks to the community, the chats, for hanging out with us for 2+ hours, man. Appreciate y'all. Love this community. We're back on Friday with the Sickness team, and next Sunday we've got some fun stuff planned. Enjoy the rest of the Sunday, folks. We're out of here.